right. So, week 2 recap of HBCU football. Nasty, sloppy, dusty, disgusting, a travesty, musty. Whatever words and adjectives you want to use, any synonyms you want to use to describe how bad it was for HBCU football, we can use that. Let's say this. I have ESPN Plus, ESPNU, ESPN, ESPN2, and 3. While I got to watch as much HBCU football as I could heading into Jackson State and Tennessee State. And I gotta be honest, it was damn near unwatchable. Damn near every single game that I turned on that was HBCU football related, it was disgusting. Like, horrific, excruciatingly bad. The first game I watched, I'm just get to it. First game, Morgan State. No, first game I watched, it was Morgan State and Tulane. I mean, oh my goodness. It was 45-0 with 4 minutes left to go in the first half. And the only thing that I could hold on to before the 7 o'clock game was Delaware State and Georgetown. And I could have swore I thought that Delaware State was going to pull it off. They had that 15-yard penalty. They had that 15-yard penalty toward the end of the fourth quarter, and they could have had a chance to win before overtime. So they got that penalty, got a 3-and-out to end the fourth quarter. They get the ball to start overtime. Not only do they get a 3-and-out, they get their field goal blocked, and then they let Georgetown score in overtime, and the game is over. That was by far the only close game of the weekend in terms of HBCU football that I can remember that I watched. That was the only close game. Because let me just give you a rundown of just what happened. So, MEAC conference. The entire MEAC conference got outscored 283 to 65. 283 to 65. And you know, I gotta be honest. And I watched a little bit of the commentary before the game started. Matter of fact, I turned on the Central game in Marshall, and one of the commentators said, you know, Marshall is bigger, stronger, and faster. But you know what Central could possibly do? Hopefully their game plan is good enough to keep it close. And it's like, okay, I know that HBCU football, in terms of on the MEAC side, hasn't been fairly good in quite some time. You know, matter of fact, North Carolina A&T was the one holding it up for a while. And then, but it just seems like for years, HBCU football has been used as punching bags for the bigger schools. Duke is not a football school. Tulane, Marshall, they're not football schools. Wake Forest hasn't been good in quite some time now. Yet, they made our HBCU schools look like they didn't even belong on the same field as them. It was that bad. South Carolina State to toe-to-toe against Alabama A&M, which I considered as probably the best HBCU football team out right now. They go into Clemson and only put up 3 points. Alabama State stood toe-to-toe against Miles College. They win by 1 point in overtime. They go into Auburn, get blown off the field 62-0. North Carolina Central, who a lot of people in the country all thought that they were going to lose to Alcorn, turns around and beat Alcorn State, and then turns around this week, gets blown out by Marshall. Howard goes into Maryland, gets blown out by Grambling State. Stood toe-to-toe against Southern Miss in the first half. Second half, it just got super ugly. To me, like, HBCU football has been used as punching bags for these other schools for a long time now, and it's been really excruciatingly bad to see. It's been frustrating because I support HBCU football so much. I love my HBCU. I love my HBCU, but it's like all the games that I watched yesterday was terrible. It was bad to watch. Peer review. I thought Jawan Pass goes from throwing for over 300 yards and 4 touchdowns to going into Texas playing Incarnate World. I don't even know who the hell that is. I don't even know what kind of school that is. They go in there and Jawan Pass looks like I don't know. That quarterback that played last week, that was not the same quarterback from last week. I don't know what happened. Bethune-Cookman gets blown off the floor. Texas Southern get blown off the field. And it's like, oh my good. I'm like, oh my goodness. You know, it's, and let me just say this. Out of all, I'm gonna say this too. Out of 23 total HBCU schools that played against non-HBCU schools, only 3 of them won. Only 3 HBCU teams won. I was Bowie State, Shawan, and Alcorn State. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what's supposed to happen here. I don't know what changes has to be made. I don't know what recruiting tactic has to be made for HBCU football to turn around. But it was terrible to watch. I gotta be completely honest with you. I couldn't bear to look at any more games except for Jackson State. Honestly, that was the only game. That was the only HBCU game in Delaware State and Jackson State were the only 2 games that I watched all the way to the end. It was I was like, oh my goodness. But all is not lost here. You know, we're gonna continue. HBCU football is gonna continue to get better. You know, now that Deion Sanders is in the mix, I hope that things, you know, look, everything is not going to turn around in a year. I completely understand that. We got to focus on 1 year at a time. But it was just bad to watch. It was sad to watch. Like, honestly. You know, and, you know, look. But on the bright side of things, these Division II HBCU teams stood toe-to-toe against the SWAC. Regardless of what the end of the game, regardless of what the final score was, Miles College stood toe-to-toe against Southern. They stood toe-to-toe. Like, yes, it was 41-24. But heading into the fourth quarter, they were only down by 3 points. Fort Valley State stood toe-to-toe against Florida A&M, in which, unless a lot of us think that Florida A&M is probably one of the best, is definitely, Florida A&M is definitely looked at as one of the best HBCU teams, in the nation. And, look, I don't know if the MEAC are gonna hand out any weekly awards this week, because it was that bad, and I hope they can pull it off, but it was just sad to watch, man. Like, I was really rooting for a lot of these HBCUs, because look, I have 2 screens. Like, I watch football on 2 screens and from a laptop, and sometimes from my phone, just in case of what is, just in case of what's on. But I just hope, man, we get it together, man. Like, HBCU football, we gotta get better, man. I don't know what's supposed to happen here. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know, man. I just hope it gets better from here in terms of HBCU football. But we're definitely gonna get it together, man. But it just didn't look good, man. It was just sad to watch. But we're gonna get it together, man. I got faith in y'all. I got faith in all y'all. I have faith in every single one of y'all. We're gonna get it together. Promise you.